RPTV Weekly News. I'm Gabriel, and joining me today is Fred, Jabin, and Kedar. Together we bring you updates on stories that directly impact Regent Park and surrounding areas. In this episode, we delve into the latest news from May 9th to May 15th. Stay tuned for the latest updates and insights affecting our community.
Dr. Samantha Green wins Toronto Centre NDP nomination. RPTV interview reveals her vision for community. Ask Serious, transformative discussion on youth, race, and faith in Toronto's Regent Park. St. Jamestown Residents Council hosts successful community summit, emerging innovations and ideas. St. Bartholomew's Children's Center's Heartwarming Fun Fair celebrates relocation to new home at 38 Regent. Community groups speak out against Bill-185 at Toronto City Hall press conference. St. Jamestown Housing Clinics, Councillor Moise offers essential support to residents. Events and jobs in Regent Park community.
St. Bartholomew's Children's Center Heartwarming Fun Fair celebrates relocation to new home at 38 Regent. St. Bartholomew's Children's Center in Regent Park, a cherished pillar of the community, recently hosted a heartwarming fun fair and rummage sale at 509 Dundas Street East. The event, brimming with joy and excitement, featured delightful food, lively music, and entertaining games for children of all ages. The fun fair served as a celebration for SBCC, honoring its legacy while raising funds for relocation. The event also brought the joyous news of SBCC's secured new locations at 38 Regent. RPTV had the privilege of interviewing Marlon Dawkins, Executive Director, and Amy Underwood, Program Coordinator. They shared SBCC's remarkable journey and the outpouring of support from the community.
So my name is Marlon Dawkins, otherwise known as Sandy.
Oh, I'm Amy Underwood. I'm Program Coordinator here.
And I'm the Executive Director, I'm sorry. So we are doing a fundraiser. Because of our relocation, we need to sort of raise some funds and also to get rid of some stuff that we no longer need in our new move, in our new location. It's not going to accommodate all what we have. So we're trying to get rid of some of those and at the same time trying to make some money. We got a lot of stuff donated, in entire Brampton. We also have games for the children, buy tickets and play their games. We also have downstairs, we have food on sale, fish and chicken and hot dogs. We have a bake table, then we have a rummage sale. Our music has been done by one of our parents, who was always played for us. We used to call it a fun fair where we used to promote the center, but this time we're making it a fundraiser.
Well, we have sort of secured a spot at 38 Regent, and we're very pleased because it's very close by, which means that we're going to be able to stay hopefully we'll be able to use the outdoor space still here and of course the basketball court. And so while we're not going to be here, we're going to be very close to home. And so we'll be starting the move at the end of June. We've got a week to move everything in, and our summer program starts on July 2nd.
Yes.
And so fingers crossed, everything goes well, and we'll be in our new space for the summer.
So we've been in the Regent Park area for over 40 years. This program started out as a drop-in center. I have been in this program for 40 years. I came here when I was at the age of 16 as a drop-in student working as a student, and it's very important for this program to remain in Regent Park.
Yeah.
The parents have all been saying, make sure that it's going to be here. Please don't close your doors, so they wanted to make sure that it was still a central part location. So that's what we try to do and get them that going. The church building is 150 years old.
Yeah.
You could see it's really it needs work to be done, and so they're having their engineer coming in to just check the structure of the building and making sure everything is okay. When we're given the notice, we knew this was going to come. was going to happen one day based on what we saw was happening in the building.
Yeah.
And so, it's been great. St. Bartholomew's Church has been, our home, and they started it actually as the clergy, the students of the church started this drop-in program, and then I came on board about 40 years ago. So it is very important part of Regent Park, very important history of Regent Park actually, and so this is also. So the good thing about it, we have good connection, good with the church. The ties are very strong ties with the church. They're allowing us to have our shed with our space with the children's play equipment, so we can come over once there's no construction trucks on the lawn. We can come over. If not, we'll be able to still take our equipment and go over to the basketball court with the kids. They're still allowing me to park here, us to park here, which is good. So they're still looking forward to working with us,
helping us
as much as they can. And they're actually supporting us and helping us even finding places. There were, the priests, Father Hannon was very good in helping to make sure, that we find a suitable home.
St. Jamestown Residents Council hosts Successful Community Summit, Emerging Innovations and Ideas. St. Jamestown came alive on Saturday, May 11th, as residents gathered at the St. Jamestown Neighborhood Community Center for the highly anticipated 2024 Summit, organized by the St. Jamestown Residents Council. With a remarkable turnout, the event showcased a diverse array of voices, ideas, and talents, reaffirming the vibrant spirit of this dynamic community. The summit, themed Emerging Innovations and Ideas, featured a lineup of engaging activities and insightful discussions. Throughout the day, attendees had the opportunity to participate in forums highlighting emerging grassroots groups. The event was made possible thanks to the generous support of funders and supporters, including the City of Toronto, the Community Crisis Response Program, and local community organizations such as Auntie Amal's Community Center and the Wellesley Community Center. Organizers expressed gratitude to all who attended and participated, emphasizing the importance of collaboration and community engagement in driving positive change and development of St. Jamestown.
My name is Randy Alexander.
Noreen McLean.
And we are the co-chairs of this year's St. Jamestown Residents Council Presents Summit 2024. The theme of this year's summit is Emerging Innovations and Ideas, and our concept this year was to bring together 10 emerging grassroots organizations that have all developed and have had foundations during lockdown and post-COVID, and are now serving their community in diverse different ways. Today, so we started with a networking breakfast, and then we moved into a 2-hour community forum where each organization presented their mandates, their visions, and then we had community Q&A. And then we had a multicultural lunch, and then we moved into some intergenerational storytelling through artists. We had African drummers, we had Mexican clown artists, we had opera performers, we had Caribbean dance crew in the house, and then we're going to close the day off with some more Indigenous knowledge sharing and a smudging ceremony. This event is important to create a space where organizations can come together and share their ideas, share their motivation and their vision for what they're doing. It's also a way to build capacity, introduce people to the organization so they can grow their membership, they can increase their media presence, their marketing presence, get the word out, what they're doing, what the programs they're offering and the services that they're offering. It's very important that every level of government engages in these community conversations at the ground level. Specifically with our local city councillor, it's important for him to hear the voices of our community members and the struggles that they experience from their perspective. It's unvarnished, it's honest, it's real, and it's not removed from reality. Often what happens at City Hall is things become a bit cosmetic or a bit too bureaucratic, whereas the conversations that we foster are authentic, genuine challenges that people are facing every day, and we need less bureaucratic solutions that are compassionate and practical.
I'm Unique, and I am a part of the St. Jamestown's Residents Council. I was a part of the planning committee to bring about this wonderful event, and so far my hopes for the event have been greatly exceeded. Like, conversations have been really good. I'm glad to see that all of these organizations are in our corner with St. Jamestown, and I hope we can do more things like this in the future. This event is important because it helps to kickstart conversations about how to create something better and something bigger and something greater for the community, and it just shows how resilient we are as a community.
My name is Megan, and this is Irene, and we're both with No Dem Evictions, and we are a tenant collective that advocates against profit-driven dem evictions, and we do this by supporting tenants through organizing, education, and action, and we also do it through advocating for policy and legislative change.
So we're here today as part of the St. Jamestown Summit to help spread the word about dem evictions, how they are affecting people today and tomorrow, and to do some advocacy to talk about what can we do as a community to help fight dem evictions, to help keep people housed, to keep our affordable stock of affordable housing available to the City of Toronto.
We started organizing in early 2023, and we started with building rallies. So we really started with some of the biggest buildings that were being dem evicted in the City of Toronto, bringing awareness to the issues, focusing on tenant stories, and really humanizing the issue as best we could, and to point out that it's a systemic issue and that it's not just a couple of buildings, it's over 100 buildings in the City of Toronto. And so we ended up in October of 2023 having a rally from City Hall to Queen's Park to highlight that this is not only a municipal issue, but it's also a provincial issue, and a lot needs to change on both levels, all three levels of government. And then in November or December, Jessica Bell actually put forward a legislation for a moratorium on dem evictions, which is one of our biggest asks at a provincial level. Obviously, under this current provincial leadership, that was not passed, but it just goes to show that the organizing efforts that we have put forth over the past year have started to make a real impact.
And some of our most recent wins was that on April 18th, there were motions that were passed at City Council that will greatly help tenants who are facing dem evictions in terms of the compensation they receive to ensure that they can stay housed during the displacement period. So they're not going to end up on the street, they're not going to end up in the shelter system, or even have to leave the City of Toronto. So we do a lot of policy advocacy, and we had a really big win that we're really happy about.
So the best way that people can get involved with what we're doing is look at the information and resources that we have on our website at nodemevictions.ca, but also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, because everything that we do, every action, every workshop, everything that we do as a group, we share there. And lastly, to follow our newsletter. Anytime we do anything, it's posted to our newsletter, and people can choose the level at which they want to be involved. They can come to our weekly meetings, they can share posts on social media, they can advocate within their community. There are many different ways to get involved, and it all starts on the website.
My name is Pepper. We have a group here. The name is True Colors. I and Randy are co-fundador for the programming, running for old people or seniors who are queer. You know, sometimes it's complicated to get a good space for seniors, for they can singer like me, something like this. I have a background. I'm from Mexico. I am artist in my country. I sing in opera, musical theater. Here I try to return to the to the show business the most as possible. But my idea is, I think Randy and me, in True Colors, the idea is support the newcomers, support the seniors, for getting a space because the art is a form for expression, you know? And sometimes the lonely feelings can be hard, but we try to get a community, bring a microphone, a space, sparkles, you know, for the community, and they can perform like me. And well, I try to perform the most as possible here in Canada. Sometimes it's complicated. I think the most important is great community, all the people feeling happy. For example, when I performance, is the wherever I want to share, you know? The people feeling happy, the people are in this line. I think Canada only need this. Love, feeling connection, and I think it's this.
Bonjour, Anishtakaz, woman who's as beautiful as the fire. My name is Tiffany. I'm the founder of the Toronto Indigenous Community Land Trust. We're a community-led initiative that is officially incorporated, and we're really excited for what community is doing. We're bringing community together so we can create a pathway to create Indigenous-led solutions that are led by community for community. We see a great opportunity for social economical growth for community, and we really want to create a strong foundation of community voices that come together and self-determine what they would like for the land. And the land is such a beautiful thing, and we want to re-honor that Mother Earth, and we want to take care of her and nurture her. And so the Land Trust is going to do just that. And we're also going to be really creating pathways to create housing, and we want to be able to build housing. And so we think about housing in such a way that we want the community to be able to come together and create these jobs and create these trades. And what does it take to build a house? Because we're going to need you. And so please come on out and look at our Toronto Indigenous Community website. We're doing a lot of sharing circles and community events, and we're currently on our membership drive. So we're looking to find you, our Indigenous community members, because we need you to be part of this really amazing initiative. And it's not just for Toronto, it's for the entire GTA and Turtle Island and our friends out in Georgina Island at the Minoaki Land Trust and the Toronto Indigenous Land Trust and all of the land trusts that are going to be growing and really doing amazing things. And we can't wait to be a part of it, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it. So come check us out. Check out our website, Toronto Indigenous Land Trust, and check it out. Miigwech!
Dr. Samantha Green wins Toronto Centre NDP nomination. Exclusive RPTV interview reveals her vision for community. On Saturday, May 4th, the Toronto Centre NDP held its federal nomination meeting, a pivotal event to determine the party's candidate for the upcoming federal election. Among the contenders were two candidates, Brian Chang and Dr. Samantha Green. The event held in the gymnasium at Winchester Junior and Senior Public School. Dr. Samantha Green emerged victorious, securing the nomination to represent the NDP in the Toronto Centre riding. Dr. Green's nomination marks a significant moment in local politics as she commits to championing the needs of the community in Ottawa. With a strong background in advocacy and community engagement, Dr. Green brings a wealth of experience and a fresh perspective to the forefront of federal politics. RPTV had the privilege of sitting down with Dr. Samantha Green, the newly nominated Toronto Centre federal NDP candidate. We're eager to delve into her motivations for nominations and her vision for addressing pressing issues in our community. And now let's go into Dr. Samantha Green's interview.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a family doctor right there. My office, you can actually see it at the Sumac Creek Health Center here in Regent Park. And I'm a mother of 3 very young children. And, when I was asked to consider running in the nomination, I thought, this is really something I need to do. I need to step up because there are so many intertwined crises that we are facing as a community, as a country, poverty, housing crisis, and the climate crisis. And I want to see, I want to tackle these issues, and I want to see the NDP really proposing bold solutions. And I think I can help do that. Yeah, I mean, it's clear we need to invest money in the housing crisis. We need to build more social housing, cooperative housing, nonprofit housing, and that's going to take federal money. We need to reinvest money in Toronto community housing because we all know that the state of TCH is pretty terrible. The state of some of the units and the buildings, and just the way that people are treated, and the waiting list is just terrible. So we need to reinvest in social housing. We also need rent control. It's really, awful. I've heard many stories of patients of mine. For example, I have a patient who works full-time in childcare and could no longer afford renting her bachelor apartment because the rent was jacked up several $100s all at once. And she ended up in a women's shelter because, even though she's working full-time in childcare, she cannot afford to live in downtown Toronto. And that just needs to stop. We need rent control. We need investment in social, cooperative, nonprofit housing. We also need to, build more units for families because we do need more supply in downtown Toronto. But that can't just be, condos that only very wealthy people can afford. We really do need to invest in social housing. Yeah, I mean, we also are facing a primary care crisis, and I know this well as a family doctor. So what I think we need is, again, like an investment in really primary and preventative care nationwide, and that includes allied healthcare services. So, I mean, there really ought to be universal access to psychotherapy, mental health services, because that is part of healthcare. Healthcare is not just doctors and hospitals, which is currently what is funded under Medicare. I'd also say that we need to tackle the toxic drug crisis. I've had far too many of my patients die because of the toxic drug supply. So we need a safe drug supply, and we need wraparound comprehensive supports for people suffering from substance use disorders. And that also means we need to tackle the housing crisis, because one of my first prescriptions for someone suffering from substance use disorder is housing. Those are some of the things I would propose doing to tackle those issues. Yeah, I mean, we need, again, to invest in social housing, cooperative housing, nonprofit housing, and at the same time, we need to invest in green space, and that will help us, tackle community isolation, social isolation. It'll also help with the climate crisis, because we know that extreme heat is increasing in places like downtown Toronto, and the more green space there is, the lower the temperature during those very hot days. A place that doesn't have enough tree cover is 12 degrees or 15 degrees hotter than a place that has adequate green space. So we need to build in that green space in addition to adequate community housing. We also need, community facilities like the Aquatic Center that's right over there, and the Regent Park Community Center. We need to continue to invest in those kinds of facilities that help bring people together and build community. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear from everyone who's watching this, listening to this. I'm by no means an expert on the issues that we are all facing, and I'd love to hear ideas from Toronto Centre residents on what needs to happen. yeah, so just email me and I'd be happy to meet. I'm happy to meet with groups, but also with individuals. And I think, should I be elected, that would be a core part of what I do. I really actually, thinking about my work as a doctor, there are some similarities with the work of a member of parliament. It involves a lot of listening, a lot of collective problem solving, coming to a diagnosis together and coming to a treatment plan together. And so hopefully some of my skills as a family doctor can be translated should I become a member of parliament.
Ask Series. Transformative discussion on youth, race, and faith in Toronto's Regent Park. On May 9th, 2024, the Centre of Learning and Development hosted a thought-provoking Ask Series event titled Youth, Race and Faith in Toronto's Regent Park at 540 Dundas Street East. This event, facilitated by Assistant Professor Aditi Mehta from the University of Toronto's Urban Studies Department, sparked crucial conversations about the intersection of diverse perspectives in urban studies, particularly focusing on the experiences of Black and Muslim youth in Regent Park. Aditi Mehta's expertise in urban studies brought a unique perspective to the conversation, emphasizing the need to amplify the voices of marginalized communities to create more inclusive and equitable urban spaces. As Regent Park continues to evolve, initiatives like the Ask Series event play a vital role in shaping a more inclusive and equitable future for all residents.
But as you know, Regent Park was Canada's first social housing neighborhood that was built in 1949. And this family is called the Blewitts, and they're sort of the poster child family that was moving into this social housing. And many of the people that were living in the social housing or moving into the social housing were European immigrants from Ireland and Italy and Eastern Europe, and the city sort of saw these people as the deserving working poor that needed to live in fresh, clean housing because previously Regent Park was called Cabbage Town, and it was a lot of overcrowded immigrant tenements. And so this is sort of the first iteration of Regent Park. And then what happens is we see a transformation of the neighborhood. So about a decade later, by the 1960s, over 150,000 people immigrated to Canada from the Caribbean. And in 1960, Regent Park South was revitalized housing, and it was mostly for some of these new immigrants coming from the Caribbean. So we see that trend from the 60s to the 90s. And then from the 1990s onward, we see another shift, and it was in 1990 that Toronto Community Housing housed their first Bangladeshi family. And through that tenant, they sort of got connected to more Bangladeshi families, and we see the population shift to Asian, South Asian, North African, and another transformation. So really, we watch the culture of Regent Park go from white to Black, Muslim, and immigrant. And this graph here actually shows this trend, but what's interesting is the first bar is 2001, and this is percent Muslim population in Toronto versus Regent Park. And while the percent Muslim population decreased from 2001 to 2021 in Regent Park, the actual numbers actually increased by 12%. And so this, because 2001 is before the redevelopment and 2021 is sort of way after, during. So I think this proportion is representing all of the newcomers that have come and sort of diluted that Muslim percentage. But Regent Park's Muslim population was 2,680 in 2001, and then over the next 2 decades, it increased by 12.3%, reaching 3,010 in 2021.
Community groups speak out against Bill-185 at Toronto City Hall press conference. Community groups, including the Regent Park Neighborhood Association and Coalition for Equitable and Inclusive City Development, gathered at Toronto City Hall on Tuesday for a media conference to voice concerns over Bill 185 and its potential implications. Bill 185, promoted as a measure to streamline bureaucratic processes in Ontario's housing development sector, has come under fire for its perceived negative impact on community engagement and affordable housing solutions. Speakers at the conference, including Walid Kogali Ali and Ishraq Chowdhury, warned the bill may prioritize high-profit housing developments at the expenses of genuinely affordable options. Of particular concern is the bill's lack of support for non-market housing development and inclusionary zoning, which experts believe could enhance affordability in new housing projects. Now let's join the press conference with speakers Walid Kogali Ali and Ishraq.
Thank you for joining us today at the Media Gallery at Toronto City Hall. We're here to discuss the critical piece of legislation, Bill-185, titled Cutting Red Tape to Build More Homes, Act 2024. While presented as a solution to streamline Ontario's housing development sector, a collective of housing policy experts, environmental groups, and community advocates are deeply concerned about the bill's potential to do more harm than good. Bill 185 threatens to silence community voices and prioritize high-profit developments over truly affordable housing solutions at a time when our city desperately needs effective measures to combat the housing crisis. This bill risks the integrity of our neighborhoods and the democratic process by effectively muting the voices of those most affected by new developments. The proposed legislation severely curtails community participation in development processes and threatens existing legal appeals crucial for enforcing community-focused legislation like OPA 558. OPA 558, which is a city bylaw that defines affordable housing based on income, is pivotal as it frames affordability, not just in terms of income, but not market rates, advocating for a rent-geared-to-income housing model. Ignoring such appeals undermines efforts towards equitable urban development. As we stand here today, we must acknowledge the impact this bill could have not just on our urban landscape, but also on our farmlands, local ecosystems, and democratic rights. It's imperative that we preserve the ability of resident groups to participate, oversee, and influence developments that affect our lives and communities. As noted by Serena Purdy, Chair of Friends of Kensington Market, the bill's approach to fast-track development not only threatens our farmlands and local ecosystems, but also undermines municipal autonomy and our democratic rights. Community efforts like the Regent Park redevelopment and Toronto's neighborhood land trust movement exemplify what can be achieved when local voices lead the planning process. Our call to action today is to unite against Bill 185 in its current form and advocate for amendments that truly support non-market housing development and implement long-promised inclusionary zoning to enhance affordability in new housing developments. We're committed to ensuring that this bill in its current form does not pass without significant modification that reflect the needs and rights of Ontario's residents. It will prevent marginalized members of our community from exercising their democratic rights and the tools that exist for communities and residents to participate in the planning process. I always ask my friends, when you think about housing and housing redevelopment, who are we building housing for? Are we building housing for speculation, for profit, or are we building housing for those that desperately need it in the midst of this housing crisis? We know that marginalized members of our community are dependent on rent-geared-to-income units. With this bill, it will cut their voices in the entire process. So when they hope to advocate for rent-geared-to-income, they will not have those means to do so. So this is why this legislation is truly problematic. It prevents third-party appeals. but it also reduces the role of municipalities when it comes to public consultations. You folks may have got those annoying letters or notifications about meetings that are happening in our community, but they're important meetings. This is where you get to voice your concerns about developments that are happening in our community. So that whole process will be completely removed through this legislation, and it's something that we should all be concerned about.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that with Kingstead Capital particularly, they also have a development in Dundas and Sherbourne, which is like the area that you're referencing. And there's a 230 Fight Back campaign that's trying to make sure that development is also, in accommodating people who need affordable housing. And so we're seeing a pattern of these corporate landlords and developers across the city that are really not considering equitable development as part of its priority. And without significant pushback or significant organizing from the community, we're not going to be able to make sure that there's even affordable housing in those units. And that, as we all know, it doesn't even account for people. It doesn't account for people who are on ODSP or Ontario Works or social assistance, right? So those people are already left out. So it's going to further push people away from communities like Parkdale, where there is a disproportionate number of folks who are low income. Like South Parkdale has 70% who are living in bachelor units or living alone, who are low income folks. Those buildings and those units will also be eventually demoviction or through gentrification will be pushed out if we're not able to challenge these projects when they come through.
St. Jamestown Housing Clinics. Councillor Moise offers essential support for residents. City Councillor Chris Moise is offering vital assistance to St. Jamestown residents through My Access to Housing TO clinics. These clinics, running from May 9 to May 31st, are geared towards aiding individuals in St. Jamestown who are on the Rent Geared to Income RGI Housing Centralized Waiting List or require help with RGI housing applications. Working closely with Access to Housing and Housing Help Centers, Councillor Moise's initiative addresses the pressing issue of housing accessibility in the St. Jamestown community. In a new interview with RPTV, Juliet Acadia provides insights into the purpose of these clinics and how they assist St. Jamestown residents with RGI housing applications. Acadia discusses eligibility criteria, documentation's requirements, and priority consideration. Now let's delve into Juliet's interview for valuable information about this crucial community initiative.
As you know, St. Jamestown is a highly populated area, and a lot of families are working class family and a lot of immigrants. And when you look at the housing market right now, renting in St. Jamestown even is not so affordable as well. And given the amount of people that we receive in our constituency office looking for housing and wanting information on how to apply for senior housing especially, and we felt that it is important to bring this clinic to St. Jamestown and also to ensure that we are serving our ward as a whole. So not just one part of our ward, but we want to make sure that every corner of our ward receive this information and how to apply for housing specifically. Today is actually the first day we're having one in St. Jamestown, and we really hope that people will come out because this is very important for this community, and we will do as much as possible to publicize it so that people can really show up in St. Jamestown because it's information that is needed, and we hope that they can take advantage of it.
Yeah, and who can apply for RGI housing waiting list, and what documentation do they need to provide?
Certainly. To be eligible for RGI housing, there are certain criteria that you must meet. The first is your status in Canada. So you have to be a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a refugee claimant. The second one is you must not owe any money to any social housing provider, such as TCAC. And you also must meet the RGI income limit. For example, you cannot exceed the local housing income that is established by the city, by the provincial government. And that means to be eligible, the total income and the number of individuals in your household will determine the unit that you're eligible for. Say, for example, if you are applying for a studio apartment, your income cannot exceed 53,500. And if you're applying for one bedroom, your income can't exceed 62,500. And if you're applying for a two bedroom, you cannot make more than 71,500. And if you're applying for three bedroom, you can't make more than 79,500. And if you're applying for 4 to 5 bedrooms, your income cannot exceed 82,500. So the reason for this income limit is so that people who actually are in need can access affordable housing. So there are also asset limits that you can own, but you have to always declare them. You are required to declare your asset when you are applying. RGI housing is not a short-time housing plan, it's a long-term, because the waiting list right now is very long. Say, for example, for studio apartment for senior is 8 years wait time. For regular studio for families or individual is 10 years wait time. For one bedroom is 14 years. For two bedrooms is 13 years. And for 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom or 5 bedroom is 15 years and above. Councillor Moise, as I said before, he is very dedicated to his work. He wants to support as much people as possible, and he also have a team that want to support him to succeed and pride themselves in supporting individuals. So when we approach situation based on needs, and also being frank as to what we can provide and what we cannot. How can we use our current position to support people? As Councillor would say, I have the privilege right now to support people. What am I doing with that privilege? So given that we have the capacity to bring together city staff to help individual in need, so we decided to take that work upon ourselves and ensure that we bring staff here and to deliver these crucial services that is greatly needed in the community. So we are very proud as an office, helping people, being on the ground. We have a constituency office where anyone can walk in and get the support that they need. So we're really proud of the work that our councillor is doing, and the entire staff is very proud to be on the team, and all we want is for our community to succeed and get the information and the help that they need.
And now events and jobs in Regent Park community.
Hello everyone, your neighborhood officers from Regent Park, Officers Godby and Biga here, inviting you to our quarterly meeting that's going to take place on June 3rd, which is a Monday at 5 p.m. and the location is 150 River Street. We're waiting for all of you there.
Yeah, so this quarterly meeting, we're going to have a very special guest coming from Crime Stoppers. Crime Stoppers is going to give a presentation as how they conduct their business. As many of you know, that Crime Stoppers is an anonymous subdivision from police that they take information anonymously and they investigate it. And historically, people have always asked, how do we trust Crime Stoppers? And they associate it with the police. So we have them coming to give that education piece and to let everybody know how they actually take information and how it's protected. Besides that, we're going to have our crime stats for Regent Park
all the crime trends that are happening here in our neighborhood. We'll be speaking on that, and in the end, we're going to have some questions and answers. We definitely encourage everyone to show up because your voices are very, very important for us. Without your voice, we don't know exactly what the community really needs. And we also encourage the young people to attend because the young ones are our future and we want them to be involved. So we hope to see you June 3rd, 150 River at 5 p.m.
SDP feedback. An effort to assess SDP efforts, effectiveness, and reaching the goal of social cohesion and inclusion. Evaluation and Benchmarks Committee has begun circulation of the SDP survey. This survey is for everyone to fill out. Please fill out one response for each working group and/or committee that you have attended meetings of. Results will be shared through a report and various presentations. To fill out the survey, go to the link below. Regent Park Out Loud, second annual Black Party on June the 14th, 3 to 9 p.m. The theme is Know Your Neighbor. Location is still to be determined. Hope to see you there. Regent Park Cafe from Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Daniel Spectrum. Come and experience the diverse and delectable taste of Regent Park while supporting our amazing local talent. And that's all for today's show. My name is Kedar and my co-hosts are Gabriel, Jabin, and Fred. And we would also like to thank our team of researchers that contributed for this week's show. And from our studios located at Focus Media Arts Center, thank you for watching and we'll see you all next week.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website.